In the ultra-exclusive world of New York's fine art elite, where a single painting can cost more than a private island, lived a woman named Lyra. To the billionaire collectors and the museum directors, Lyra was just a lab assistant. She was the quiet girl who lived in a basement studio smelling of turpentine and old dust, spending her days staring through a microscope. They saw her messy bun and her chemical-stained apron, but they didn't see the chemical conservator who had actually invented the Chronos solvent, a miraculous formula that could remove 500 years of damage from a painting in seconds without touching a single drop of the original paint. 8 years ago, Lyra made a mistake that cost her everything. She trusted her business partner and the man she loved, Sterling. She showed him the formula so they could save their small restoration studio from bankruptcy. She thought they were building an empire of art together. She was wrong. Today, Sterling is the king of the art world, the most famous art dealer in America, about to unveil a newly discovered $500 million Renaissance masterpiece at the Metropolitan Museum of Art on live global television. But as the velvet curtain drops and the massive gallery lights turn on, a terrifying change begins to happen on the canvas. A woman steps out from the crowd of billionaires. She isn't here to admire the art. She's here to show the world that while Sterling stole the glory, she is the only one who controls the chemistry. The story begins in a freezing, dimly lit studio in Brooklyn. Back in 2018, Lyra and Sterling were 28. Lyra was a genius of molecular chemistry. She understood how organic pigments aged over centuries. Sterling was a master of manipulation. He knew how to talk to old money and convince them to open their wallets. They had spent 3 years developing a chemical enzyme that could revolutionize the art world. One desperate night, a Russian oligarch offered $50 million to whoever could restore a heavily damaged, priceless painting without ruining it. Lyra had finally perfected the Chronos solvent, but she warned Sterling, the formula is hyperreactive. It cleans the dirt, but it's unstable. It requires a neutralizing varnish applied exactly 1 hour later, or the enzyme will continue to eat through the paint. But Sterling's eyes were blinded by the $50 million. He didn't care about the science. He cared about the spotlight. He waited until Lyra left the studio, copied her encrypted hard drive, changed the locks, and presented the solvent to the oligarch as his own invention. When Lyra found out Sterling had already secured the money and a team of elite lawyers, he told her over a brief phone call, "Lyra, you're a brilliant chemist, but you're invisible. The art world doesn't care about the person holding the beaker. They care about the person holding the gavel. I'm giving this discovery the stage it deserves." He left her with nothing, taking her life's work to build his throne. As the years faded, the scent of the world began to change. Slow down here. The sharp smell of ammonia and dust in Lyra's old Brooklyn basement faded into the expensive scent of French cologne and champagne in Sterling's Manhattan penthouse. Lyra watched Sterling's face move from local gallery brochures to the glowing covers of Vanity Fair and the New York Times. Sterling built a multi-billion-dollar empire. He became the miracle worker of the art world, using the solvent to restore masterpieces for the world's elite. Lyra spent those 8 years in total silence. She didn't file a hopeless lawsuit against his expensive lawyers. She didn't go to the media. She took a low-level job as an archivist at the Met Museum just to stay close to the art. She sat in the dark, quietly studying the molecular breakdown of his restorations, waiting. Because Lyra knew a terrifying secret about the laws of chemistry that Sterling's ego couldn't understand. She wasn't waiting for justice from a judge. She was waiting for the light to speak. It is now 2026. The scene is the Grand Hall of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. The global press, royalty, and the world's wealthiest collectors are gathered for the unveiling of the century. Sterling is standing on a marble stage, wearing a custom tuxedo, smiling as he prepares to reveal a $500 million masterpiece he personally restored. The live cameras are rolling. Sterling pulls the red velvet curtain. The crowd gasps. The painting is breathtaking. The colors are as vibrant as the day they were painted. To illuminate the masterpiece, the museum turns on the massive, high-intensity UV halogen gallery lights. Sterling smiles for the cameras, but 3 minutes later, a billionaire in the front row points at the canvas. The vibrant blue sky in the painting is turning gray. The rich red robes of the figures are bleeding into white. The live feed zooming in on the canvas shows the 500-year-old oil paint literally dissolving, turning transparent before their eyes. Panic erupts in the grand hall. The museum director screams. Sterling's investors are frantically calling their banks. Sterling rushes to the painting, trying to wipe it with his handkerchief, which only smears the dissolving paint further. The masterpiece is literally erasing itself. "Turn off the lights, it's the heat," Sterling screams, his perfect, arrogant image shattering in absolute terror. From the back of the crowd, a woman in a simple, elegant black dress walks forward. It is Lyra. "It's not the heat, Sterling." Lyra's voice echoes through the silent, shocked hall, captured by every microphone in the room. "And wiping it will only accelerate the molecular breakdown." Sterling stares at her, his face pale, sweat ruining his expensive collar. "Lyra, security, get her out. She's trying to ruin the event." "I don't have to ruin anything," Lyra says, walking calmly up to the marble stage. "Your own ignorance is doing it for me. It's physics, photoreactive oxidation." Lyra turns to the billionaires, the museum directors, and the live global cameras. 8 years ago, Sterling stole my formula," Lyra explains, her voice steady and unstoppable. "He stole the chrono solvent to clean the dirt, but he was in such a rush to get the $50 million. He didn't steal the second half of my research. The painting is now 30% transparent. The priceless history is vanishing. The solvent is an active enzyme," Lyra reveals, pointing to the massive gallery lights. "When it is exposed to high-intensity UV light for more than a few minutes, it undergoes photoreactive oxidation. It stops eating the dirt and starts eating the organic binding agents in the oil paint. You didn't restore this masterpiece, Sterling. You coated it in acid." The grand hall goes dead silent. The world realizes the truth. Sterling had built a multi-billion-dollar empire on a stolen chemical he didn't even understand. The painting is seconds away from being permanently destroyed. Sterling is hyperventilating. He is about to be arrested for the destruction of a $500 million cultural heritage artifact. His life is over. "Lyra, please," Sterling begs, falling to his knees on the marble floor, crying in front of the entire world. "I'll give you everything. The company, the money, the credit, just save it. I know you have the cure." Lyra reaches into her clutch purse and pulls out a small, metallic aerosol canister, the neutralizing varnish. She doesn't smile. She looks down at the man who broke her heart and stole her life. "I didn't come here to save your career, Sterling," Lyra says coldly. "I came here to save the art." Lyra steps past him. She presses the nozzle and sprays a fine, invisible mist over the canvas. Instantly, the chemical reaction freezes. The colors stabilize. The bleeding stops. The masterpiece is saved, but Sterling is destroyed. In a world that is obsessed with showmanship, fast money, and stealing the spotlight, we often forget that true genius cannot be faked. Sterling thought he could steal the brilliance of a woman and use his charm to sell it to the world. He thought the elite would only see the shine and never question the science. But Lyra taught us a different lesson. You can steal the formula, but you can never steal the mind that created it. You can buy the suit, but you can't fake the substance. Sterling chose his greed over her genius, and his empire dissolved faster than the paint on the canvas. Remember, a lie might look beautiful in the dark, but it will always fade when the real lights turn on. Never underestimate the quiet ones who build the foundation, because when things start to fall apart, they are the only ones holding the cure. If this story reminded you that true intelligence always outshines arrogance, type genius in the comments and share this to honor the brilliant women who work in the shadows.